Disney's animated sequel debuts in the second spot.
One Piece film, Red.
One Piece film Red by Sony's Crunchyroll division, selling $9.5 million worth of tickets. And the romantic comedy Ticket to Paradise, number 3 in its third week with $8.5 million in ticket sales.
That's Fox's Kathleen Maloney. I'm Laura Cantor, Fox News.
Evening, everyone. Welcome to the Next Revolution. Tonight, our focus is the next repudiation. But the people who are about to be repudiated say it's all too complicated for the poor, ignorant voters.
I think with all of the noise that we've got in this election season, I don't think people are able to really grasp that. But more importantly, I'm not sure they really understand the threats to their way of life.
Oh, yes, they do. They understand the threats to their way of life perfectly and will vote accordingly. They understand that 2 years ago, taking advantage of a corrupt, senile machine politician who was so desperate to be president he'd say or do anything, and a party whose leadership had completely lost itself to Trump derangement, a handful of far-left activists commandeered the Democratic Party and implemented an extremist agenda on every issue. On the economy, they pushed the Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren lunacy of modern monetary theory, the idea that the government can print and spend as much money as it wants with no repercussions. It was a catastrophic mistake. They wrecked a rebounding economy. The worst inflation in 40 years, the worst labor participation in 45 years. Now, in response, rising interest rates and a looming recession. The Democrats' climate zealotry threw away our energy independence, destroyed jobs, destabilized our economy and the world's security. Now, in response, they loot our oil reserves for an election bribe and go begging to the world's worst dictators. These hard-left Democrats push the reckless insanity of open borders, making a mockery of the rule of law, insulting every American immigrant who did it the right way, creating an unprecedented humanitarian crisis, poisoning tens of thousands of Americans with fentanyl that could and should have been stopped, threatening every family in America with the unimaginable pain of losing a child to lethal drugs they never intended to take, but which, thanks to the Democrats, could now just pop up in any community. Shame on them for this. Shame on them for the crime they've caused. Criminal justice reform, my God, they took an important idea and ran it all the way to the far left, plunging America into chaos, violence, and fear. These Democrats who lectured us on competence and good governance and gave us dead Marines in Afghanistan and desperate parents in the richest nation in the history of the world unable to find food for their babies.
Goes to my fundamental grievance with my damn party. We're getting crushed on narrative.
That's your grievance, your narrative. Americans are cursing your damn party, all right, but not because of its messaging, because of its actions, its policies, and their results. That's why this election is shaping up to be a glorious and comprehensive repudiation of the sanctimonious, self-righteous, shallow, virtue-signaling, utterly incompetent ideologues who took our country for a joyride or crashed it into the ditch. A repudiation of the pathetic Democrat lapdogs in the media who've been totally complicit in this shambolic, destructive experiment. And now a repudiation of their appalling, divisive, irresponsible histrionics about the end of democracy if they lose.
But there's something else at stake. Democracy itself. Democracy is on the ballot this year.
No, it isn't, you ridiculous old fool. Democracy's not on the ballot. Democracy is the ballot. All these speeches about protecting democracy, they're so obviously just attempts to protect Democrats from democracy. If they really cared about our democracy, they'd stop their gerrymandering, their election denying, their constitution defying, and their seemingly endless assaults on free speech. Biden's so far gone, he's now trying to claim that the definition of democracy is voting Democrat. That's the exact opposite of democracy. That's totalitarianism. But this is how they talk now. Like this demented nutjob, Beschloss. You have to ask, was this a deep fake?
We could be 6 days away from losing our rule of law if historians are allowed to write in this country, and if there are still free publishing houses and a free press, which I'm not certain of. But if that is true, a historian will say what was at stake tonight and this week was the fact whether we will be a democracy in the future, whether our children will be arrested and conceivably killed. We're on the edge of a brutal authoritarian system, and it could be a week away.
But no, it's not a deep fake. That was real. They have completely lost the plot. The once respected James Clyburn, after last week admitting that their spending caused their inflation, this week descending into rabid conspiracy theories with the kooks and the crazies, claiming America will be like Nazi Germany if Republicans win the midterms. Yeah, just in the last few days, they've compared Republican voters to Nazis and cockroaches. So that's what's going to be repudiated too, the left's rhetoric of hate and division. And don't forget their lockdowns. As they beg for a pandemic amnesty, tell them no. They masked your kids, closed your schools, shut down your business. Tell them what you think. They wrecked your economy, doubled your gas prices, opened your border, unleashed violent crime on your streets. Tell them what you think. They insult you, smear you, threaten you, silence you. And then they try to divide us. Tell them what you think. Tell them what you think of the lies and the gaslighting, the incompetence and corruption, the failure they've brought, the pain they've caused, the feeble embarrassment in the Oval Office and all the rotten crew. Tell them what you think and make sure you vote. That is the next repudiation we need. Tell us what you think and share your midterm predictions with us on the new free Twitter at NextRevFNC and at Steve HiltonX, and share this message when we post it. All right, tonight we have a fantastic election special from our studio here in Los Angeles. Candidates for Senate, the House, statewide races from all across the country, plus Leo Terrell and Alicia Krause with insight and analysis. But let's start with someone making their case to the voters and doing it extremely well according to the latest polls. Anyway, that is Tiffany Smiley, running for Senate, of course, in Washington. Great to see you again. When we first spoke probably about a month or so ago now, and people were talking about your race being close and this could really be a possibility, I think a lot of people thought, well, is that really real? Is that actually on the cards? Now you're looking at these polls giving you pretty much neck and neck. Is it real? Can it actually happen? Can you pull this off?
Yes, Steve, we can pull it off because I'm connecting with voters on common ground, exactly the issues that you were just talking about, from crime to a fentanyl crisis, cost of living crisis, gas crisis. We're connecting on common ground. I have hundreds and hundreds of people coming out to my events, multiple events every single day. I just finished a fantastic event with hundreds of people who want change. They want leadership. They don't want career politicians. Senator Murray's been there for 30 years. 30 years, and she's only gotten 9 bills across the line. That tells me a couple things. Number one, she's not working for Washington State. And number two, she's so extreme that no one wants to work with her to get bills across the line. So Washington State wants a leader. Washington State does not need seniority. We need motivation and principle. And the voters of Washington State know when they send me to DC, that's exactly what I will take to the halls of Congress.
So I should point out, we did ask Patty Murray to come on and share her views with us. She didn't accept our very kind invitation. But what is this argument that they're running? How's that playing in Washington right now, the argument about democracy? I touched on it there, and how, you know, if someone like you wins, that's the end of our democracy. Are they trying that on with you there?
Yeah, Senator Murray in June started doing that to me and my family, who served and sacrificed greatly for this country. And in my debate, I called her out on it. I said, Senator Murray, you tell everyone in this audience that you believe that me and my family are a threat to democracy, or you disavow your campaign's dangerous rhetoric that continues to further divide this country and this amazing state. When my husband lost his eyesight, he was fighting for everyone. And when I went on and took on VA reform, I was fighting for every Democrat, every Republican, every independent service member and their family. That is who I am. Senator Murray doesn't want Washington State to see the picture of me and her, or to hear her speaking about me in 2018 on the Senate floor when she said I was an amazing advocate. That's exactly who I am. I will work with anyone to deliver positive results for the great people of Washington State. And